What's up guys, English Dan back with another video. So back in 2018 I got the Sony WH-1000XM4 before they came out. Did a review on them, loved them. Everything was just upgraded on them compared to the XM2. They were a fantastic headphone, great noise cancelling. They were just a real big step up. Well, I now have the Sony WH-1000XM4. I've had them just over a week. Are these as much of a big step up as the others? I'll let you know in a second. Welcome back guys. So these are the Sony WH-1000XM4. I know they don't look any different to the XM3. Bit of a theme there with that, but I'll get onto that in a moment. So right now, if you pre-ordered these or if you've ordered them, you should be getting them at your door right about now. What you're probably wanting to know is, are they worth the upgrade? Well, let me tell you. So two major updates with these, which I feel like I'll tell you about first, because they are the biggest updates. You've got multi-point. What multi-point is it allows you to connect these to two devices at once without having any issues whatsoever. You couldn't do that on the XM3, it was one device only. This you can connect to two, no problem, which is really nice. It's really handy. I like it. I'm glad it's here with these. And the other big change for them, they've now got pretty damn good microphones for phone calls. The XM3 was let down terribly with some dumpster fire microphones when it come to making phone calls. They just weren't good whatsoever. For everything that was great about the XM3, the microphones was a massive negative. So straight away, if you make phone calls with this, you are going to be happy that they've done this with this. You're going to be happy with the product that you get in and the outcome when you make a phone call. So they're the two major updates. It's not everything, but let me tell you a little bit more now. So the headphone design itself is pretty much identical to the XM3 that released in 2018. And I mean, that's not a bad thing because they were very durable. They were made really well. They had the nice soft touch rubberized coating on the plastic. They had some good flex. They didn't creak. They didn't feel cheap or anything like that. They just haven't really updated the looks of them, even down to the color and the copper accents. They are very familiar with the XM3. So if you've got the XM3, you're going to have trouble distinguishing which ones are which. Buttons are in the same places, same touch controls, same USB-C port. It's just all very familiar. And it's a good thing in a way because you know what you're doing straight away when you get them if you've had the XM3. But basically, yeah, everything works the same. The touch controls work the same, the hand over the ear, things like that. All exactly the same as the XM3. So you're going to have no problems if you've, like I say, used the XM3, knowing where the buttons are, the placement, and what you've got to do. So, very familiar, but very samey. One thing Sony didn't update, and it was a bugbear of mine on the XM3, is water protection. There's no real water protection with these. Rain can get into these quite easily because there's little vents and holes that that will allow water to come in. And I would have liked to have seen Sony this time, especially after 2 years, to actually develop these so that they would have some kind of resistance to that. For me, these are something that you're going to wear inside, or you know for a fact that it's not going to rain outside, or you can get them protected straight away so they're not going to get wet, because they'll get ruined when it rains. It's just the way it is. So that's a bit disappointing that here we are in 2020. We're on a pair of headphones that, are an update from 2 years ago and they still don't have any waterproof or water resistance or anything like that. Bit of a shame. Another thing that's the same, see, this is a theme. The USB-C port is only there for charging. You can't use it to power your wired audio or anything like that. It's just solely there for charging. And I mean, it's not really a problem because you do get the 3.5mm aux cable, so you can still listen to your device. But it would have been nice to have a USB-C wired sound mode instead of having to use the cable. But by the by, that's a small thing, but it's the same as the XM3. They also use the very same noise cancelling processor, the Q1N. But this time, it has a Bluetooth audio system on a chip. And what that does, it analyzes the music that you're listening to, but also analyzes the sounds around you 700 times per second. That's insane. Just think about that. It's analysing what's inside, what's outside, 700 times per second, and then it's taking that data and it's throwing it into the algorithm for the noise cancelling and figuring out how it can block that out and keep this in. That's incredible. And that's one thing I like about the XM series. The technology on them is fantastic. That is impressive. And let me tell you, the noise cancelling is a step up. The XM3 was the best noise cancelling. Bose then came out with the 700. Noise cancelling was pretty much as good, but they had better phone calls, but the sound wasn't as good on the Bose 700. But on a pure noise cancelling, Bose actually leveled up with Sony. Well, now Sony have done this with this new system on a chip. They've just took a big stride ahead again, because the noise cancelling on this, it was creepy on the last one when you're not listening to music and the noise cancelling came on. It's even creepier on this one. The silence that you get is phenomenal. It really is phenomenal. Phenomena. You know what I mean? When it comes to sound, guess what? They sound really familiar. Like I've heard this sound before. And that's right, they sound a lot like the XM3, and that isn't a bad thing because the XM3 do sound fantastic. They have a really warm tone to them, nice bass, everything comes through, the soundstage is great. They just do sound really good. They have tuned these a little bit more again, but it's very, very similar sound quality. So you're not losing any sound quality, you're gaining just a little, but it is exceptional sound when you're listening to these things. For me, it's just the right balance of everything. And they've also introduced a new feature. And this feature can be toggled on and off. I say new, I don't ever remember seeing it on the XM3, but I could be wrong. You can let me know if I am wrong. I just don't seem to remember seeing it on the XM3 at all. But it's a new feature that you can toggle on or off. It comes off, but you can toggle it on. And with using AI, it can upscale your music. So how does it do that? Well, what it does, in real time, it actually analyzes the music that you're listening to. And while it's analysing, it recognises the music types. Then it'll recognise the instruments. And then it'll recognise the elements that are into the music. And it'll try and make them sound even better. And it does sound pretty good. I've seen some people say it sounds a little artificial. Might do to some. I actually thought it sounded really quite good. I was pretty impressed with the outcome that came out of it. It was pretty good results. They also have the 360 degree audio. Didn't really get into that much because I don't have the apps that go into that. There's 4 apps, Tidal being one of them, and I didn't really use it. Used the demo. Sounds great, but again, I can't really go into any depth of that because it's not something I will use because I don't use the apps that Sony use to get this 360 degree audio. But it's an option there if you do use Tidal and things like that. Yeah, you would get that feature too. So yeah, basically there is a lot the same when it comes to the XM4s to the XM3. But it's not all familiar. Like I said, I got those 2 points out in the beginning, and there's some more new stuff for you. So if you've got an Android phone, the XM4s work with the new Android Fast Pair, which is really quite good. It works just like the Apple Connect and the Samsungs. As soon as you power them on, bang, the little screen comes up, tells you, hey, you want to connect these XM4s to your Bluetooth? Done. Great. Love that feature. I would hope that more manufacturers will bring that to the Android devices. It's a very, very nice, convenient feature. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't have it, but the fact that these do have it, that's a bonus. It's new, and it wasn't on the XM3. And while you're using that, let's say you put your headphones down and you forget where you've put them. It also, with that, creates a find my headphones kind of thing. And you can then use this to make your headphones make a noise so you can go and find your headphones. So another great feature, because if you're like me, I swear, I could turn 180 and I'll forget what I was looking at on the other side. I have the memory of a goldfish. That's just the way it is. There's a smart feature as well also on these, and Sony have called it speak to chat, and that is exactly what this is. So you're listening to your music and someone's talking to you, or you need to talk to somebody else. You can start talking. Within one word, these things will pause and recognize that you're actually talking, you're having a conversation, and they'll pause the music while you have your conversation, and then 30 seconds afterwards, after it's not heard anything for 30 seconds, it'll start playing again. Sound will resume. Or you can double tap on the right ear cup and the music will resume again. This is really good, and it's very much like putting your hand over the right ear cup like you did on the XM3s, but you don't have to do that. You start talking, it pauses. It works fantastic. Sounds a bit weird, but once you've used it, you'll be like, wow, this is a really great feature, and it really is a good feature. And don't get me wrong, you've still got the cover the right ear cup up with your right hand for ambient mode to kick in, but the fact that you can do it by just spoken voice, well done, Sony. That's impressive. Like I said, the tech in the Sony WH-1000XM lines has always been stellar, and the XM4 are just providing that again and proving that they're ahead of the game when it comes to certain things. Now, with multi-point, audio swapping or like audio source swapping is simple as well. You can go from one to the other very easily. There's no hiccups, nothing gets jarred or anything like that or hangs. Now, when you get the headphones, make sure you update them, because before the update, there was some problems, but now the updates fixed that. Sony have sorted it out and it works pretty much flawlessly. I've had one occasion where it may have got a little confused one time, but that was it. They've been great when it comes to swapping audio sources. Let me just touch back as well on the sound quality when it comes to the sound of the XM4. They use Sony's LDAC codec, which is a higher quality, higher bitrate, better sounding codec, and it does actually sound good. It's just a better quality sound. The only sad part about it is you can't use LDAC when you're using multi-point. So if you've got more than one device paired, no LDAC. But the thing that makes that not hurt so much is that the actual sound quality without LDAC is fantastic. It's like way, way, way above average and very good. So it's not that much of a kick in the nuts. So overall, the Sony XM4s, the 1000XM4s, these are to Sony what the S line is to the iPhone. So nothing radical, just upgrades where they felt they needed to. It's an iterative release, which is weird because it's took 2 years to release this. I feel that they could have done this last year. I don't understand why they've waited all this time to just do an iterative release, but it is what it is. It's an iterative release. There is a lot of things that are familiar when it comes to the design, the buttons, the way they work, the sound. A lot of it is very similar to the XM3, and I would say that if you have the XM3 right now, unless you need the really good phone calls, or you need to be able to pair with 2 different sources, you probably don't need to upgrade to the XM4. Now, if you're coming from the XM2, yes, you would upgrade to these all day long. They're going to be a great upgrade for you, offering you plenty of value. If you're coming into these new and you've never tried them and you've not, this would be like your first pair of headphones in the $250, $350, $400 range. You'll love them. Absolutely great benefit to you. Everything will sound brilliant. They're comfortable. They're made well. They sound great. 30-hour battery as well, which is the same as the XM3. See what I mean? Everything is the same as the XM3. I'm not mad about it, but it's just a shame that there's so much that it is just more of an iterative release. But yeah, if you've got the XM3 already and you don't need those 2 major updates, which are the multi-point, so you can use 2 different audio sources, or you're not bothered about phone calls, keep your XM3. But do I recommend the XM4 if you've not got the XM3? Hell yeah. They are the best headphones on the market, and Bose and their 700s have just lost out again. Your move, Bose. Alright guys, this is English Dan, that is the XM4s, and this is me leaving. Laters.